and pray over the call really quick, and then I'll watch the chat room and stuff. So if anybody's trying to come in still, but I don't want to waste Autumn's time and anybody else's. So I'm super excited. Oh, yay, August. Okay. I'll rename your thing on a minute, but let's pray really quick. So, dear God, I just thank you so much for bringing Autumn into my life. She is such a gem, and I cannot wait for this incredible team to hear from her and hear her knowledge and just what's working for her, but just her story. You gift us beautiful stories that we get to share with others. And that's why we're here. We are here to just listen in and hear what you've done in Autumn's life and what you are going to continue to do as we just watch it unfold and watch her just live out your calling for her. Dear God, thank you for this call. And I can't wait to see what you do with it. In Jesus' mighty name, amen.
Amen.
All right. I am super blessed to bring Autumn in. She is a nurse. She was kind of filling Julia in before we got started, and I'll let her share all of her story. We connected, and I can't remember how, worship event or something. Oh, yes, worship event. And I'll let her share that part. And it was great. Uh, and I can't wait because she's going her journey has been beautiful to watch, and she is actually working towards Emerald this month, especially with all the incentives and everything. And so we're definitely going to be praying for her and cheering her on too. And anyway, take it away, Adam. Thank you, my friend.
First of all, just like I am just so honored to be here. Like the fact that you guys are a faith-based team, like and just like hearing you say that, like we're gonna be praying for you guys. That's what this is all about. Like I love it so much, and I feel like it's a full circle moment. So I'm Autumn. I am a mama of two. I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old. My daughter, she was diagnosed with autism a couple years ago. Um, so very busy and, room mom, all the things, right? And I am a nurse. I've been a nurse. That's what Julie and I were just talking about for 18 years. Where does time go? 18 years. I started as an LPN, bridged over to RN. But I was working as a regional manager for a dialysis company, and I was there for 10 years. And so I'm down in Florida, and so it's Ocala, Gainesville, like where UF is, Gainesville, Palaca, and where else? Yeah. And so I oversaw all those areas. I had like 300 patients, whole bunch of docs, 30 teammates, but like my joy is helping people and leading people. So I was as happy as can be, happy as can be. And my mom started sharing and using Plexus. And so I'm also, seeing here, it's a hot mess because I'm getting ready for a market, but I'm also a boutique owner. And my mom joined, I think it was like July, right before like starting to earn leaders retreat, and she earned a cruise to Labadee, Haiti. And she had never been out of the country. She had never been on a cruise, and she wanted me to go. And I'm like, Ma, this is in November. I was the one at work who was like planning all the holiday parties. My daughter's birthday's in December. I host Thanksgiving, all the things. I'm like, Mom, I do not have time for this. No. And I was doing all the markets, like all the holiday markets for the boutique. And my husband was like, babe, your mom comes to every single market with you and supports you. You need to support her because she's like, if you don't go, I'm not going to go. No one will come with me. So I went kicking and screaming. And I'm not exaggerating. Everybody knew I did not want to go to Leaders Retreat. So I ended up going and I said, all right, Mom, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to follow you around. Whatever you want to do. And I followed her around. And me, being from corporate world, when she was like, oh, they have these like seminar things, I'm not going to that. I'm here for a good time. And I was like, no, we go to those. Like, you have to go to those. I'm like, I'll go with you. It's fine. But like, you have to go to those. And I remember sitting in there and just hearing these women's testimonies. And I was like, all right. And I was kind of having an internal battle, like, maybe I could do this. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. There's no way. My plate is so full. I'm drowning. No. And I would talk myself back out of it. And then I think it was like the second day Dr. Hartman got up there, and I'm like, All right, you guys got my attention with this. Okay, okay. And then at dinner, on cruise ships, you're like on top of each other. So we're like making friends with everyone we're eating next to. And one woman on this side is saying how the doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with her, and these products have healed her and helped her so much. So my nurse heart was like stirring. And so my mom's sponsor, Joanne, she's a pastor's wife, and she knows that, I'm in church and all the things. And she's like, Autumn, they're hosting praise and worship on Sunday. So when she said they, I'm thinking they as in the cruise ship. No idea that it was this one over here. And I'm like, okay, cool. How me and mom, I don't know if you guys, well, I'm sure you do. You remember how packed that cruise ship or the room was. There was nowhere to sit. How me and my mom got the second row, two seats in the second row is only a God thing. Joanne and her husband actually did not even make it in because people were sitting on the floors, like surrounded. It was packed, like packed. And I'm like, it's only God that we even got a seat in here. And I was sitting in there in this praise and worship session. And like, guys, I was so against this. I told Joanne, do not talk to me about Plexus. Do not look at me about Plexus. I'm here for a good time. I was very stern. Like I wanted nothing to do with it. So don't give up on those people who are like, no, don't give up on them. Um, so I was sitting in there and the blessing came on. And I have heard this song 1,000 times. And I'm like, oh, great. I love this song. But as I was singing this song, may his favor be upon you for 1,000 generations in your family and your children and their children and their children. When I tell you God hit me so hard, guys, I started like hysterically, like I was like hyperventilating. And God in that moment was like, you're going to do this. And in that moment, it was, you're going to do this. You're going to quit DaVita and you're going to do the boutique. And so I was like, okay, boutique, cool. But like I just knew like it hit me hard. Like I could barely breathe. And I'm like, okay, God, like I felt like I was fighting it the whole time. But in that moment, it was like you're doing this for your kids and the generations to come. This is not about you. This is my calling for you, and this is what you're gonna do. And guys, when I told you I knew nothing about Plexus, the products, nothing. So we finished praise and worship. I come out the door and Joanne just happened to be like straight ahead. I run to her and I'm like, okay, I want to do it. I want to do it. How do I do it? And I was so against Plexus that she said, oh, do you want to be baptized? I thought you were already baptized. Like, no, no, no. This, God just told me to do this. Like, tell me what to do. And so her husband was like, "Well, there's this like little bistro by the inside pool and it's quiet there. So let's go in there and talk." So we're sitting in there and we're talking because I guys, when I tell you I was clueless, I'm like, just sign me up. I don't know. And we're sitting there talking and they're trying to explain everything to me, but I kept getting distracted. I kept hearing like all this yelling and shouting and clapping. And I'm like, what is that? And Ed goes over and he comes back and he's like, they're baptizing people in the pool, like right there. And I'm like, stop. There's no way because that's something I was really struggling with in my corporate job. I couldn't pray with my team. I mean, I could, but they had to ask me first. So I would pray with my team, but I could get in trouble unless they asked me first. And like they started, just with all the political stuff. And I was like, like I was already feeling uneasy with it. And the fact that, people were openly talking about God on stage and that there was praise and worship, which I found out what was from Plexus people, not the ship. And then they're doing baptisms. Like I remember coming up to you and I'm like, girl, like, thank you. Like this impacted me so much. Thank you. Because had it not been for that, I probably would have kept on my merry way. I don't know. Maybe God would have laid it on my heart, but it's just that truly is such a big part of my story and just allowing the opportunity for God to really speak to me in that moment. And I got my first VIP in the middle of the ocean. And I went gold, fast start gold my first month, and I just ran with it. So that was in November. And then that was November of 2023. And then so we had leaders. I earned my first leaders retreat to Punta Cana in February. So I started in November. November and December, it was like a month and a half. I earned leaders retreat. Went to Punta Cana in February. I ranked senior gold the month we went to Punta Cana, and then I ranked ruby in March of that year. And for me, I, I was a nurse, a manager. Network marketing was completely new to me. So for me, we were talking about this before, like they got to keep ordering and they got to stay. And March was a Apple Watch month. And me, I had my sister and I had another friend. So my friend went, Jen went senior gold and my sister went gold and then I went ruby. And then the next month, everybody turned their subs off. They like there was a couple people who joined for the wrong reasons and just wanted those Apple Watches and got all their friends to turn their subs on and then turned them off and went radio silent. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm Ruby, I'm great. We're gonna keep coasting. No. The next month I dropped down to senior gold and I was bummed. Jen was bummed because it was her team that quit. And we kind of sulked in it and we sulked in it and we just kept going backwards, not really knowing like how to pull ourselves out of it. But it taught me so much. Um, so we kind of went backwards and then September of 2024 is when Leaders Retreat opened and started again. And I was just in like not a great mindset at all. And I think so September August I went from 500 down to 145 points. So I went all the way down to gold. And then September, I ended at 185. So you can see I put in a little more effort because I'm like, okay, Leaders Retreat, a little more effort. But I'll be honest, I wasn't fully in it because I kept saying, I'll earn it. It's fine. I'll earn it. No problem. It's fine. Well, I did earn it. I earned it in December. But by the time I earned it, the ship had filled up. And I like they were like, if we'll put you on the waiting list and if anything opens, guys, I had my bags packed until the week before, just holding on to hope, like I want to go. And I was so excited when I earned it. And then I was so bummed when the realization came that I wasn't gonna go, even though I earned it, like, but it was such a good learning opportunity for me. So everybody else went on the cruise. And during that week, I sat home and I worked. I already had the time off, everything. So I worked. And I went from 166 points in January to 225 in February because February was Leaders Retreat. So I'm like, I'm doing this. I went from 225 and then March, I re-ranked Ruby. So it took really, really just a couple months of changing my mindset and being super focused to then re-rank Ruby. And then, or no, I'm sorry, it was May. It was May. So February, March, April, May. So 3 months it took me. And then I re-ranked Ruby. And then May, June, July, August, September. Then 4 months later, I ranked Senior Ruby. That was in September. And now this month, we're going for Emerald. We're doing it. And so I my work and my home life, I kind of skipped over that part, but I remember when I started saying to Marianne, who is my diamond, I'm like, all right, Marianne, I make a six-figure income. God's telling me to leave my job. It's really scary. Where on here do I need to be to make that? And I remember her saying, you need Emerald. So that has always been like, okay, Emerald is where I need to be. And in my mind, it was once I hit Emerald, then I'll quit my job and all the things. Well, little did I know, like backing up in time a little, November's when I joined and I was so happy at my job. And then December, they said, well, you're only as good as your last month. So it doesn't matter that you and your team kicked butt all year because last month was bad. That's what we're basing like everything off of. And we always had turnover, we always had new managers, and you're constantly having to prove yourself. And I can go on a whole tangent. If you guys ever have anybody who talks about MLMs and the pyramid scheme with MLMs, I can go on a whole tangent about that because the real pyramid scheme is corporate America because this one person was in charge of my raise, my bonus, and my team. And I was always like a mama bear to my team. So when they're like, well, you're only as good as your last month and your team, they're not performing. I'm like, excuse me, no. And so I started pushing back a lot because that's not fair. So literally, God already knew the month after I came back, that happened. And then my prior boss had already left the company like earlier in the year and started her own med spa. And we became really good friends. And so in April, after I joined, I had dinner with her. And I was like, girl, it's just getting worse and worse. And it's not fulfilling anymore. And I feel like people are a number now instead of us truly healing and taking care of people. And she said, well, I need a nurse. I'm getting busy. So, when God tells you it's time, let me know and we can talk about it. That was April. In June, I'm like, girl, I just felt God over and over, like just saying, it's time to go. It's time to leave the past in the past. It's time for a new chapter. I even went to my church on like prayer night and I was like, I want to make sure this isn't like me. I want to make sure this is God telling me. I had them pray over me and it was like, no, it's time to go. And so I gave my notice in June. I left August of last year. And then I just started working at the med spa 2 days a week, which was a very scary thing because I mean, I told you my numbers where I dropped down to during all of this because I was stuck in this mindset, but God provided the whole time and continues to provide the whole time. And I look back now and I mentioned that my daughter, she's autistic. Last week I had 4 appointments for her with counselors and ABA therapists and all the things. And had I been with Davita, I wouldn't have been able to do all of that. So um it's just a blessing having the freedom and being able to, make our own decisions and make our own choices. But I like the biggest part of it really, and like what I have just become crazy about lately is mindset. Because that's the only thing that changed, guys. Like that's it. It's just me saying I'm not going to sit in this anymore. Things that aren't the greatest are going to happen. You're going to have VIPs who quit and it's going to hurt. And my sister was a gold. I think that's another reason why I was just like, my sister, my best friend, she was like, all right, this isn't for me after ranking gold. We were, so excited together. And I've learned to not take it personally. Everybody has their own journey, and all we can control is ourselves. So the month that I ranked Senior Ruby, I was driving myself crazy because I was trying to do the sticky notes on the wall where you pull the numbers off. But I was like, I want to be accurate. I want to make sure like when I pull one off that a sub's not off or whatever. And every day I would check and my numbers are going, the orders I need are going up from subs coming off. And I was like, oh my goodness. And then I just had a moment and I said, you know what? The only thing I can control is myself and just running and just focusing on helping as many people as possible, as being in as many conversations as possible, helping my team as much as possible, not focusing on everything that's going around you, not focusing on the numbers, just focusing on exactly blessing people, healing people, connecting with people that like it really makes such a huge difference. So even right now, like I have my countdown and I'm like, I hope this is my number. It's probably more, but we're not going to talk about that. We're just running and we'll reassess a little later because when you get caught up in everything else that's going on around you or the little nitpick, like, we just gotta run. And I another thing that I really instill in my team is connections. Um, I am really big on connecting with somebody first, and if they're not ready, everybody has their time. So I have right now a senior gold. She's going for Ruby this month. I talked to her for a year. I reached out to her, and it was about 6 months before she ordered. She had PCOS. She lost weight and gained it all back. You could tell she was really struggling. She would post this openly. And I for 6 months, and finally she ordered. She ordered. She had die-off symptoms. She had a really bad headache, and she quit. I was like delivering ease to her doorstep, all the things. And then I think she started it back up, but then she wasn't consistent. But I knew that she needed these products. And from talking to her, I knew that she needed a friend. So I would just occasionally reach out to her every couple weeks. And it wasn't always about Plexus. It was, hey girl, how are you doing? How are the kids? How's the school year going? Because I knew her son. She has a son who's also 9, who's autistic. So, how's AJ doing? And connect it with her as a person. And finally, when she made up in her mind that she was done, and she's like, I can't do this anymore. She has told me, Autumn, you always kept in contact with me. You checked on me. You made me feel heard. You made me feel validated. And who else would I trust with my health? Of course, I'm going to come to you because you've been there all along, just supporting me and not pressuring me. Like I would occasionally be like, girl, when you going to start your plexus back up? But more of just like a fun little thing, not like you need to do, you know what I mean? And so when she was ready, and she just took off, took off. And she tells me all the time, like, it's just because you connect it over and over. And like, I have so many girls on my team who I'm like, I know eventually. And the same thing I hear over and over from them is, man, I wish I would have did this sooner. I wish I would have did this sooner. But like another one of my girls, she's a gold right now. She it was probably a year for her too. And I saw her all over TikTok. I want to be an affiliate marketer. I want to make money. And I'm like, for red. And now she says the same thing. She was telling me today that she had a conversation with somebody, and they're like, I don't have friends, this and that, which is the same thing she said. I'm like, perfect. So we've created this diverse team where we can bounce off each other. And like Brittany might be talking to somebody, and I'm like, all right, we're going to include Emily in this conversation because she can relate. So we really come together as a community and help each other and support each other, which I think is a big part of it too. So the fact that you guys are so tight knit, and like we do the same thing. We have our little group chat and we pray, we take turns praying every morning, supporting each other, encouraging it, like that makes a difference. And especially if, like, for all of you guys, like you could very well come in contact with somebody who starts for the products but really is struggling mentally and emotionally and just needing a community. And like we'll have sip and sees like every Saturday, and I'll have team that shows up with no guests. They just want the community. So think of it more as like it's not just, yes, it's the products and it's the healing and the health aspect, but it's really so much more than that. It's the community as well, and the support that we bring each other, and being able to lift each other up. And one of the things that I love so much is I feel like sometimes it's because they're trying to tell me why they can't do it, but like be having conversations with people, and it's, well, my dad just got out of the hospital, so I can't afford it right now because of this. And people will try to over explain to like validate why they can't do it. But I love that because then I'm able to be like, all right, friend, let's pray. Like, okay, products aren't a priority right now. Let me pray for you. And then when you follow up in a week and I'm like, how's dad doing? Like, it gives me the chills right now. Like, things like that happen over and over. And if it weren't for this business, I would not have the opportunity to be able to be the hands and feet of Jesus and praying over all of these people. And maybe they never ordered. That's okay. They're getting like, I might be the only like Jesus encounter that they have, so they're like, it just fills my cup so much. I feel like I'm rambling at this point because I just get so excited like with everything. I'll pause it for a second there though. Does anyone have questions or anything
I,
specific you guys want me to elaborate on?
I would love to ask you a question. Just
Sure.
from nurse to nurse, I'm always curious, why Plexus? Why did you choose Plexus?
So, if I'm being completely honest, it's because God told me to. But, however, I then, after the fact, went and looked through. I love that it's all clean. I love that it's all plant-based. I love that the ingredients work. And I work at a med spa. I work with a nurse practitioner who prescribes the GLP-1 shots. I tell her, like, that's your thing. But I hear her doing her consults and I hear all the side effects and the GI issues they have and just feeling sick and all the things. And I'm so passionate about the fact that we have products that are clean and are going to help you without all of the side effects. I've so I earned Silver Star. Oh yeah, that's another. I earned Silver Star this year in May. So I think it was the same. It might have been, or maybe it was April, but it was right before I re-ranked Ruby, maybe. I
Did
don't know.
you go in April or May?
So I went right after convention. So I think I went in
Oh,
July.
okay.
I went over the summer, and that is a whole different like experience and ball game because I was able to watch them like do like shaking the bottle. They'll sit there and shake the bottle for 30 seconds to make sure everything dissolves correctly. And I got to see like the lab and like where everything was tested. I got to actually meet Dr. Hartman and ask questions and meet with the team who comes up with all the different flavors. And so that part I love too. And I get really excited because people are like, yeah, yeah. I'm like, no, I have been there. I have seen it. And then just like I said, being on that cruise and the cruises, for those of you who don't know, it's just Plexus. Like it's all Plexus. So my first encounter was hearing testimony after testimony from these women saying, this helped me with this. I had this going on. I couldn't figure it out. And this helped me. And just hearing all of those firsthand testimonies as a nurse, I was like, okay. And then when Dr. Hartman came up, and then that's the year that microbiome was patented, and they announced that. And I was like, okay. So, I mean, it's science backed. Like there's so much information. And I feel like that, like for me, I like I'm proud of being a nurse and I want to be able to hold that credibility and I feel like I can with Plexus because the products are great. So, yes. And so I told you that I got Silver Star. I got 10 silvers in a month. Woo. And then I earned Icon in August. And then I swept Leaders Retreat in 1 month because I'm like, I am not missing it. So I not only earned it, I swept it. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. Guys, I have like 5,500 credits right now. I'm not saying that to toot my own horn. I'm saying that because last year I missed it. And this year I was like, there is no way I'm missing that again. And I pushed so hard that I like, so yes. And now this year it's so bittersweet because this year I already have three of my girls who have earned it as well, who are coming with me. So I'm like, yes. And it's just mindset, y'all. That's it. That's the only thing I've changed is just my way of thinking. And then the same for your teams. You have someone like discouraged, it's okay to feel it. Let's feel it. And then let's let it go and focus on those who want the help and who are eager.
I
Oh,
have a
girl.
couple
Go for it,
questions for you.
Christy.
Okay. So one, I have four questions. So whatever we can get to, if anybody else has any, I don't have to have all mine answered. The first question I have though is you've talked a little bit about how you've had people that have kind of come, but they've also kind of just gone, or they thought they wanted it, but then they didn't. So in this journey that you've kind of seen, where you've kind of gotten to this point where you have people that are building solidly with you, how have you worked either to attract them or attain those business builders? How have you worked to, whether they wanted it or you've helped them to see it, what have you done to kind of help with that?
So I do have people who have been with me all along the way. Like Jen, the girl I was talking about who went senior gold and then lost her people, she's still with me and she is working for hopefully senior gold this month, which is so super exciting. But I think you just have to build belief in people. I've found so many people, like my friend Emily, she's like, Autumn, I don't have any friends. I can't do this. And it's assuring them like it's okay. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do. The only thing I ask of you is that you be coachable and we'll get you there. And just encouraging them. And I'll be honest, sometimes I'm having the same conversation five times a day. So you have to be really patient. Um, I laugh all the time. I was actually telling someone this tonight. I was at a networking event tonight. I feel like like everything has prepared me for this. My nurse heart and then management, being able to multitask and do all the things, and then the boutique for social media. But with management, that was something I really struggled with, is being able to help people when maybe you're not even feeling the greatest yourself. So just staying positive, speaking life, we can feel it in the moment, but then we're going to keep it moving. Like I've had so many people want to quit, and had I just been like, yeah, this is stupid and why did they do that? They probably would have. And I've seen that happen in other legs, like where they're negative, but you got to just speak life and feed into them and just build that belief from the beginning. It's okay to be unsure. It's okay to think you can't do it, but guess what? We're partners now and I'm going to help you through it. And just that constant reassurance constantly.
So, based kind of off of that, kind of in that process of the reinsurance that you're talking about, when do you really see that people kind of, we use the phrase catch the vision a lot too, but for me, it's like, when do they see that this is tangible and real and they really can? Like, when do you kind of see? I know there's one-offs that people like, they, go off and stop and they've done really great and stuff, but when do you really see that people kind of sink their teeth in and they're like, no, I've got this?
Honestly, it varies for every person. So, for example, I have somebody, um, I've been talking to her for 2 years. I go to church with her, and she was on a GLP-1. And she last month finally decided she's been stagnant on the GLP-1 for months and months. And she's like, all right, fine, Autumn, I'm ready to give it a try. And so we got her started on the products, and we're on like a messenger event. Just that's what we're focusing on right now. Everyone's doing messenger events. And so that's what I told her. I said, well, let's do a messenger event. And she's like, Autumn, I have no friends. I've done this network marketing, this network marketing. I wasn't successful. I said, that's okay. This is a fresh start. I'm here. I'm going to tell you everything to say. You bring me the people and I'll do all the work and I'm going to teach you. And yesterday, so she is one order away from ranking senior silver. She just ordered at the end of October. She's one order away from senior silver. And she was telling me the other day, literally that, like, okay, maybe I can do this. I'm like, friend, you can do anything you set your mind to. And again, just reassuring them we're in this together, but then keeping your word and actually being there with them in the trenches and helping them. A lot of times people just need the reassurance, or they failed in a network marketing company in the past because they didn't have the support and they think it's going to be the same thing.
That makes sense. So this all kind of like flows together. It's working well. Your answers are working with my questions. But so another thing adding on to that, whenever you find people and because we can see when we know people are going to be good at this, but
Mhm.
we know that they don't. And so whenever you have people like that, because I know you talked about having that energy and building that belief in them, do you, um, do you kind of just lead them like, hey, you could do all these things, or do you lead them with that energy step by step? Because I've seen people do it both ways, and I'm just curious on kind of how you kind of build that vision in with them.
So I usually like to start with asking people what could this business do for you? What could, or I guess I'll reword that. I'll ask them like what's most important to them, because some people it's the time freedom, being able to be at home with their kids. Some people it's financial freedom. Some people it's just being able to support their household and their husband's always work. So you want to get their why and then being able to bring it back to that. So I get their why and then I say, okay, you want to be able to stay at home. Let's say everything works out with Plexus and you quit your job. What's a day in the life work like? What's a day in the life look like? What are you doing at home with your kids? How is your life going to look different? Like, and have them verbalize it, because them saying it themselves, I can say it, but like, and that's part, Julia, that's part of our like nursing brain is you have the patients repeat back. So it's like, you tell me what is your life going to look like, and then you hold on to that and you write that down and you always have that there. That way when they're having a bad day, you say, friend, remember, we're working towards you being able to pick your kids up and drop them off every day. That's what we're working for, and we're going to get there. And then I was going to say something else too. I lost my train of thought with that one. And then I guess like I want to know their bigger picture to bring them back to the why, but I try to do baby steps. So like for us, what we do is I have them make a Facebook post, but like some people will make a Facebook post and get no interaction, no engagement, so that can discourage people. So I warn them about that. Like, friend, I'll even make posts and people aren't liking it and they're not commenting on it, but I'll see them in Walmart and they're asking me about the post I made last Tuesday and I don't even know what they're talking about. I have to go look at it. So you got to kind of prepare them for that. Like, they might not be interacting, but they see it. And then we jump right into messenger party. Okay, this is step one. You made your post. Okay, this is step two. We're doing a messenger party. Here are the steps we're going to do for this. Okay, we did the messenger party. Now we're going to get one of these people to host a messenger. Like I kind of do it step by step, but then knowing their why so that when things do get a little rocky, we can go right back to that. Because without the vision, without a why, like it's hard to get people to really commit and stay. But like telling me, all right, you're going to be able to quit your job. All right, I'm going to keep pushing.
No, I love that. That's sometimes I've been doing this for so long, but I at the same time like I'm not where I want to be, and so sometimes I don't know. So these are things I feel like I know, but I don't necessarily keep doing, if that makes sense. So it's
Yeah.
good to kind of hear that reaffirmed back. And so my last question is, how many kind of good runners do you have right now? So I'm looking to like I'm shooting for senior gold. And so I'm trying, and I know it's not the perfect same for everybody. So know that I know that. But what did you kind of see kind of as you're getting into gold and then senior gold and then moving back into ruby and such? How many runners did you really kind of have with you to kind of build that solid?
So for senior gold, I think I had two senior silvers, but it's different for everyone because of course it depends on your own individual ads. When I first started, I was getting like 20 VIPs a month, so it's a little different. Um, but what I will say is I've seen people go to senior gold solo, but it's really hard to go to senior gold solo. Typically for senior gold, you do need a team with you. But that could be a whole bunch of silvers. So I feel like a kind of another thing that catapulted for me, and we'll say this sometimes, like Marianne told me this month since I'm going for Emerald, she's like, Autumn, it's another silver star month. Like my brain is very goal oriented. So if you say, Autumn, I need you to get 10 silvers. That's what she told me. And I sure as heck got 10 silvers because we just wanted to be sure I would get it. Like when I heard I was in the running, I'm like, all right, we're gonna go all the way. But it doesn't have to be like senior, like you don't have to have a gold and a senior silver. It can be multiple people. Like one person might have 6 and one person might have 3 and multiple legs. So I would focus on just getting as many people various legs as possible, and then that'll help you out in the longer run too, because as you move up, you want all these multiple legs. Um, I'm trying to think this last time because I told you I dropped down to gold, and then I think when I re-ranked senior gold, I think it was just one person with me then. Um, but the good thing is I felt like that one person, like I don't know if you guys do like a chat or not, but when you have a new person who comes in with all this energy, people feed off that. And I feel like that was part of my explosion too, because then I finally had new people coming in, and the other people who had been stagnant saw that and they're like, I want in on this. Like, even if it was just for the community aspect of it. And then I had people who were stagnant, like, all right, let's go. Um, and so me personally, I know everyone does this a little different. I know there's teams that every month they make a new chat and add like whoever wants to jump in this new chat, whoever's on board, you're jumping in this new chat. I personally don't do that. I leave everybody in there because one, I feel bad. I want to kick people out. Like you might have an off month, and like I know for me, we've had like a leadership chat, and there was one month I didn't earn it, and I'm like, this is the month I need y'all. Like my mind isn't right. I need to be in there right now. So a little bit because of that, but then like people go through life in different stages, and you might have an off month and then you come back and then you see all this momentum and this women coming together and people want to be a part of that. So that has been really impactful too for us, is just really playing on the group chats, and anybody, and again, like everyone does this differently. I know a lot of people once somebody actually becomes a brand ambassador, they add to the chat. For me, once you say you want to be a brand ambassador, we're welcoming you to the chat so that you can see the community that we have and the support that you already have before you've even added anybody. So then they already feel like they're a part of something, and it gets them pumped up to be able to want to add. Because I know like my team, my upline does it a little different. Like you got to add one first, but I feel like the opposite actually helps. So anyone's interested, well, let me not speak for you guys, but I was gonna say anyone interested, you add them to the chat.
Well, and that was my thing, is like with being in this business for so long, you do things, then you're like, okay, maybe not. And then you try them again, you're like, maybe not. So it's always up and down, and you see what works and then what doesn't. And then it just kind of levels out. Okay, Christy, do you have any others? Julia? Okay. What are you doing, or anybody else really quick? Nobody? Okay. What are you doing right now that you feel like is working for duplication? I'll start there.
Messenger parties. So I feel like I had an epiphany literally. I don't know if it was the end of October or beginning of November, but so for my team, our Jules, they host a Monday motivation every Monday night, and they have different people kind of like this talking about different things. And one of the emeralds, she went emerald in 6 months, and they had her talk because they're like, she does these great messenger parties. And for me, again, I think it's my nurse brain sometimes. I can be a very much like a check the box person. Like, okay, did the messenger party, check the box, but we weren't getting anywhere with it. And she had this Monday motivation call, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I preach about connection, but I'm not connecting with these people during the messenger parties. So what we're doing is every person who joins, then we're saying, okay, you're going to do a messenger party, and you got to kind of prep your hostess beforehand. So I create the event. I give them idea of what to say as they're inviting people. Make sure that they say yes before you invite them. They have to say yes. And then as they're adding them to the chat, they're saying, hey, this is my Aunt Julie. And we're like, hey, Julie, welcome to the party. And then she puts me in a three-way chat with Julie. And then I'm like, hey, Julie, like if it wasn't her aunt, how do you guys know each other or where do you live? And I kind of connect with her a little bit. And then I'll say, what are you hoping to learn from this event? And then I'm getting her goals without her really knowing that I'm getting her goals. But then that also works out because I had someone the other night, they're like, oh, I'm menopausal. Can you post stuff? And I wasn't going to post anything about menopause, but that prompted me to post it. And then we do like giveaways and we make it fun and we make it interactive and encourage people. Because I used to always, I told you guys, I was like very against all this before. And my mom would add me to all these messenger parties and I'd be like, they keep talking and it's driving me nuts. And well, guess what? If that person's like that, they're going to be like that regardless. So I feel like that held me back for a long time. So I'm like, I don't want to be that person. But now I'm like, no, like let's chat, let's interact. If it's blowing you up and driving you crazy, you can mute it at the top and come back when you can. No feelings hurt. And we've really focused again on making it interactive. Well, I'll post everything. And then after the party, I'm going back into these three-way chats. So I've already developed the relationship. It's now me who's posting. So they're like, oh, I know her. I've built some trust with her already. And then I'm going back in the chat and saying, hey, what stood out to you? Or, hey, did you see I posted something on menopause? You were saying you wanted to see menopause stuff. What did you think? And then that allows us to chat and then we close. And then as soon as people order, we're going back in the chat and I'm saying, oh my goodness, Aunt Julie just ordered. Thank you so much for helping out Stacy. And I say that a lot too. Like, guys, I know this means so much to Stacy, and I'll tell Stacy, you need to go in the chat and thank them because they're here for you and supporting you. So I did one of these the other night and the girl got one order. Another girl was like, oh, I can't order. It was on a Wednesday. I can't order until Friday because that's when I get paid. We're like, okay. Well, then I went and I posted in the chat. I'm like, oh my goodness, so-and-so just ordered. She's going in the giveaway for 10 entries now. And then I post the giveaway. Like anyone who's interacted, I'm posting it as we're having it. And then all of a sudden that girl came and she's like, I think I want to order now too. So we're like, okay, but I think it was the giveaway that prompted her. So we make it fun. And then as soon as they order, I do it super chill. I just say, hey, Aunt Julie, would you do us a huge favor and host a messenger party for Stacy? It would help her out so much. And I keep it really simple like that. Sometimes they'll say, I don't know how to do that. So you just reassure them, I'll tell you how to do everything. And then you remind them, you're doing this for Stacy. I'll tell you how to do everything. You're going to be helping Stacy out. And I know Stacy really appreciates it. And then I'm in the chat with Stacy, like, girl, like, make sure you're saying, yes, please, Aunt Julie, or, and we kind of work together. And then Aunt Julie, we do the same thing for Aunt Julie, whatever night. And we do the same thing. And I say, okay, Aunt Julie, now you're going to put me in the three-way chats. And then we're in another network. And this is this month. This is messenger parties that I'm working on. And the goal, so I think that's another mind change for me, is it was a check the box, do a messenger party. Now, messenger party, the goal is at least one order and at least one party booked from that party. And I feel like that has helped us so much. Like my girl that I was talking about that went senior, or is about to go senior silver. That's all it was, is just us doing messenger parties. She hasn't really, like she's posted on Facebook, but it's been the messenger parties that have really got her all these orders. And then her cousin did a messenger party. And actually her cousin, when I asked her, would you help Shelby out and do a messenger party? And she was like, I'm so glad you asked. I actually really need to make some extra money. And I was going to ask you if I could do this too. But she was like nervous to ask. So had I not asked, I don't know if she would have asked. So like, don't be a blessing blocker either. And I'll tell people that, like, if this isn't for you, that's fine. But I don't want to be a blessing blocker. This might really help you before the holidays. So I'm just going to throw it out there. And I just try and be really blunt, like with people, like, if you don't want to, that's fine. But hey, we're here. So
I love that. And we've done that. We've been trying to bring them back, probably not as hard as what we should be, but we do educational events in that same way of like, if Darcy starts and we're like, oh my gosh, Darcy, I'm so excited. The next best thing I get to do for you is now educate your friends and your family on these products. And we just pick the day and the time. because then that eliminates that too. Like, how does 7 o'clock tomorrow work for you? And they're like, oh, actually, I'm like, no worries. My next time I have is, so you're eliminating the
Yeah.
objections. And then we do a Facebook group or a Zoom like this, because everybody's, I feel like, different in a lot of the times, but messenger events are quick and easy. And I love that too. There was something else. Oh, do you utilize the corporate events on Monday, Thursdays? Because I know we do, but do you utilize those?
So, from what I'm told, corporate kind of got the idea from our team. So, I'm on a really big team.
Yeah.
So, we have Monday motivation for the brand ambassadors. We have Tuesdays, it is new VIP orientation. And this is just for like our team, our Jules
Yeah.
And then Wednesdays is the it's like an info session, and it goes over it's like the products and the opportunity. So Tuesdays and Wednesdays we kind of already have
Those
our
in
own
place.
thing.
I see.
Yeah. And then we even have like a little team video with like Marianne. So then it's like, hey, because we'll send them information sometimes with like the little link, and it's like, this is the girl who's in the video type stuff. And yeah, that seems to work well. But I will say that's one thing that they've really been drilling as well, is to utilize these. Like, don't try to recreate the wheel. Like,
Correct.
these are here for you,
Right.
and they're doing all the work for you. So why not just have them jump on instead of you going through everything? Just have them jump on. It's already right there. So I feel like it really should be utilized.
Oh yeah, we definitely push them every Monday, Thursday, because again, they're so good. There's teams that we would never know or have them on, and so I love going to those. The time change has gotten me, but it's okay. I'm getting back onto that. Okay, who else has questions? We have a few more minutes. What do you do for customer care? What do you feel like is working for customer care?
So I started probably, this is just a couple months. So obviously, like, if someone's starting triplex, like we have a chart that we send them with how to start triplex, don't start it all at once type stuff. I have found that when I'm texting people, especially when they first order, it is, bye Alyssa, it is like information overload sometimes, and they're telling you, yeah, I got it, and they really don't have it. And
Right.
I've had so many times where I tell people stuff and they're like, okay, and then they're not feeling great because they like didn't follow directions and are taking stuff
Correct.
crazy. And I'm like, what are you even doing? And I'm like, didn't you see my text? Did you respond it? And so what I've started doing is, as soon as they order, then I'm saying, hey, when can you jump on a really quick FaceTime with me? Can you jump on a FaceTime with me tomorrow? And I'll do that with me, and I'll do it with whatever ambassador, so that they're learning too. And then I have some like quick points here that I always go over with them. So making sure they know how to log in. I tell them on their calendar to open their calendar, circle 90 days, and it takes your gut 90 days to regenerate, and it is realistic to wait 90 days before saying if you're seeing results or not. It's not an overnight product, and just really setting the expectation with that. Because, we'll have people 2 weeks in, I haven't lost any weight. I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. So just verbalizing that, verbalizing consistency. I used to go over the perk points. We'll see what's to come with that. I'll tell them about the new VIP orientation on Tuesday. I talk about focusing on non-scale victories at first, having more energy, sleeping better, things like that. Those on hunger control, or like making sure they're drinking it before a meal, just little, and within the 30 minutes, because I had people like making it the night before and sitting all night, stuff like that. So just stuff I've learned along the way. Letting them know I'm going to be checking in with you frequently. Please do not ghost me. I'll call them out, right? Do not ghost me. I'm here to help you. if you quit the products, that's okay. I'm not going to judge you. Just please answer me. I'm here to help you. And then also encouraging them not to quit the products. And then I give them a heads up on die-off symptoms. So, you might feel a little extra bloating. I try not to like go too much into that because I don't want to scare them away, but I do give them a heads up. That way, if something does feel off, I'm letting them know like that could be normal. Just reach out to me. We'll work through it together because then, you'll have people go through die-off and just stop and then ghost you. Um, and then letting them know if they have any issues to call me because I've had people in the past that will call Plexus and then they'll return their order and then Plexus likes to ask, well, would you like to cancel your account? And then it's canceled altogether. So I'm like, do not call corporate. Please just call me. I will take care of everything. Because the next month they're like, I'm ready to order. I'm like, girl, you canceled your account. I can't help you. And then I'll go over how to take the products. That's the biggest thing. It's just making sure they know how to take the products and the 90 days. Your subscription is on. You can move it at any time. We could switch products out, but the subscription is on to help you. One, to make sure you're consistent, make sure you're getting your products before you run out. We're in this together. And then at the end, so what I would usually say before this month, I would say, we can help you get the cost of your products covered as well. And it was like not as intimidating as saying, we can help you make money. But now I'm saying, would you do so and so a favor and host a party? And then I feel like that has been working even better. And then once they, get their first person, then I have the conversation. Do you want to get your products paid for? Do you want two more? We can get 450, and then it's more natural to open it up that way. But it usually takes me about 10 minutes and we just kind of run through everything and then it helps build that connection too. And guys, I'm going to be very real with you for a minute. One thing that I have done, we've talked about that not all business builders stick around. And I had with me and Jen, this girl signed up. She went senior silver. She signed up like 10 people and we had no relationship with these people. So when we're reaching out, they were ignoring us. So I'm big on three-way chats. Everybody, like I want in on the three-way chat. So I'm developing that relationship. But then also when you're having these FaceTimes, I'll sometimes do a call, but majority of the time I want them to see my face if I can help it. And we're building that connection and we're building that relationship. So then God forbid if something does happen to Susie, when I'm reaching out, I'm saying, hey, I'm the girl that was on FaceTime with you. You remember me? And like that connection is there. Like connection is huge. So that was kind of part of my learning lesson too with going backwards is three-way chats with everybody. As soon as someone's interested, you put me in a three-way chat. And even if I'm not talking and I'm like, then and then the FaceTimes really helps with the connection part too.
I agree. Because again, if something happens and they fall off, then you lose that whole team because they don't even know who Julia is or Christy is. And they're like, who's this person texting me? Or who's this person now trying to ask who I am? So I love it. This has been phenomenal. I cannot thank you enough. You guys, it's all like she said, it's all here. All she did was she made a point to make it happen. And so she made an effort to show up consistently every single time. And if you need a checklist like she did, where she's like, I'm going for 10 silvers, then do it. You have to figure out what you need, but also then do it. Show up, do the work that you're called to do. All of you have a calling. You have a higher calling to do. The problem is life will get in the way, and I get it, or other things, and that's okay. You show up when you're ready and just know that it is here, but don't keep holding on to it and expecting it to take off when we haven't put in the work. And so maybe it's a checklist, maybe it's a lot more one-on-one messages where you're talking to any of your sponsors or me or whatever, get me into those 3 ways, whatever you need, that's what we're here for. So thank you again, Anam. And I'm so grateful. I will not forget when I met you at worship and we hugged and you're like, I don't even know why I'm here, but I'm here because the worship and it's amazing. And now I'm sold and now I have to do Plexus. It was great. You guys, I wish you could have seen her face. It was beautiful. That was one of my absolute favorite worships, was that cruise. That one, the Holy Spirit just broke out and it was powerful. Yes. I mean, every single one is, but that one was just extremely special for me. It was truly one of the second bit, like it was, anyway. So I'm glad that you were there, and God knew you needed to be there too. So,
Yes. Amen. Amen.
all right, girl.
Love
All right,
you.
ladies. Hey, quick picture. I know people popped off already. Let's do it. Ready? 1,
Okay.
2, 3. Thank you, Kaya. All right. See you, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.